Hello, welcome to another stream by Atari, Grand Shaman of Atlantis. Hello Danielle, hello Elmer, hello New Around, hello anyone else who may or may not be watching or just lurking, doesn't matter, you're all welcome anyway. How is everyone doing? I, for one, am doing a lot better than I was when I did the Zatsu, which is unfortunate. Speaking of which, most of that Zatsu, okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I really want to emphasize, the frames, they are probably going to be fatal. I'll have to check. It's a piece of cake to bake a piece of cake. Baking is so easy. I mean, some baking is, other is not all that much. Hello, Barney. But yeah, I finished the last Zatsu feeling kind of bad because I feel like I was a little bit too overly angry during that. I have since then well, not exactly reassessed, but gotten more used to Pokemon Legends ZA, and basically instead of basically, I was able to go from coping with what it's not and instead trying to see what it actually is, you know? Like, kind of letting go of my own expectations. And just, okay, let's see what the game does have. And I would be lying if I said that I'm not having some fun. There are a few issues that I see with the game that I think that a lot of other people have already pointed out. Like, for example, that the city, even though it has a lot of people in it, it feels a little bit lifeless because okay, we're trying to mimic Paris, but we're not trying to mimic some of the things that make Paris what it is. Like, for example, like, I know that this is like a constant in Pokemon games, but like in other games they didn't have issues with showcasing a little bit of that. Okay, basically, okay, let's put it like this. The cities in Galar, and in other games, you can tell that these are just representations of what the real thing would be like. By making its entire world a city, Pokemon Legends ZA makes it a little bit more makes it a little bit more difficult to accept that this is okay. So basically, this is even if this is still a representation of what the real life city would be. It's a much bigger, much larger, much like it's kind of like okay, when you build a model, when you build a model of something, some things have to be left to your own imagination. Pokemon Legends ZA doesn't leave a lot to the imagination, which means that you're gonna take what's there a lot more at face value. And there's a lot of flaws in how it represents what could be considered the Pokemon world's equivalent of Paris. Like, the biggest one that I can think of, it's not the only one, of course, but the first one that comes to mind is the lack of traffic. I understand that this is a Pokemon game. However, I gave you Yokai Watch, the first one. That one has traffic in it. They were able to implement it into the actual game, like into the actual gameplay and how it works. Like, I don't think that programming traffic would be all that hard, but it really is clear that this is an overly idealized version of Paris instead of trying to actually figure out how a semi-realistic version of Paris would fit into the Pokemon world. So yeah, that's one of my that's one of the things that I'm like that I'm not like a big fan of. Like other things I kind of managed to, well, not exactly get over, but get used to, and just look past. Okay, let's see where this goes. I might actually play it on stream. Like, I'm gonna keep playing it on my own, but I might make a new game on stream to examine those things in a little bit more depth. Like, kind of make it a little bit different. Okay, like I'll try not to make it like too ranty, too angry, because now I already know what to expect. But yeah, like just stream it and examine it and be like, oh, okay, so this doesn't work, this works. This is a fairly good idea. This is not so much. Kind of analyzing the game a little bit more, a little deeper. Which I didn't do with Legends Arceus, Legends Arceus, I was just, focused on like, okay, so I'm gonna make my Eevee team and then I'm gonna just breeze through the story. But that's also because the story of Legends Arceus is a lot more gripping. It has a much better hook than Legends ZA. I'm just gonna say that. Like Legends ZA, I'm still like, I don't really care about what happens to these people, which is the 8 deadly words in fiction. Like the 8 like if you're actually little small tip from someone who's trying to write fiction to, like, if you want to write fiction yourself, there are 8 deadly words that you never want your audience to hear, which are: I do not care what happens to these people. Okay, that's 9, but yeah, I don't care what happens to these people. 8 deadly words. And Legend ZA so far is kind of like on that. It's kind of like on that. Like, it has given us characters that are like somewhat interesting, but most of the time what's interesting about them is the design and not much else. I think that the only character that they've managed to make me care about is Lida, which is the girl that wants to dance. She's basically your Tierno in this game. But yeah. Hello, Daniel O'Brien. Welcome. Let me check chat a little bit. Atari, I never played a Pokemon game in my life, and after seeing footage of Zaza, I'm out. I think that using Pokemon Legends ZA as a showcase for the entire Pokemon franchise is not a good... It's not a good... It's not a good way to go. Let's put it like that. let's put it like that. I still say that probably like the best games that you could start with, you know, for the Pokemon franchise are like the third generation, like, you know, Fire Red and Leaf Green, and Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Like Star Quartz was saying the other day that yeah, he was trying, but it was hard to find legitimate copies, which really caught me off guard. I had no idea that there were, like, you know, bootleg copies, or that the Pokemon games are so easy to bootleg. Let's put it like that. So yeah, okay, Elmer is talking about his college project, which is not going too well. Pokemon ZA is a fun game on its own, but there are a lot of things within the game with the franchise as a whole that are getting hard to ignore, especially with the price. Okay, I literally have to write an apology to every ugly tree from SNS. Okay, I don't know what SNS is. Is this Sword and Shield? The cities in Zaza are atrocious. They really smoked that fat Zaza when making the Zaza, because this game has quality of life decisions that no one asked for. What quality of life decisions are you talking about in specific, New Around? Because, yeah. Okay, so still talking about Elmer's, Elmer's college project. That your costume looking so nice. Oh, thank you. I designed it myself. I didn't draw the model that you see on screen, though. Going not too well is putting it very nicely. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, that's that's my take on ZA so far. Like, one thing that I can definitely say about Pokemon Legends ZA, like, you know, a positive thing is that it looks a lot better. It looks a lot better than Scarlet and Violet. Like Scarlet and Violet, and I mean this, and I mean this also when it comes to like the game's optimization. Like, there are, I said it last time that, like, I don't see any glitches, I don't see any frame rate drops for stuff that's like in the background. If there are, they're barely noticeable. The camera doesn't fall down the floor. The camera doesn't fall through the floor and allow you to look at the buildings from below the horizon level, which but isn't Scarlet and Violet a very low bar? Yes it is. Yes, it is. But here's the thing. One of the main issues with how Scarlet and Violet one of the major issues that I have with Scarlet and Violet is indeed how the characters look. Is how the characters look. Like, it's the more like three-dimensional style that they decided to go with, in opposition to like what Sword and Shield did, which was basically just like an extension of what the drawing style had already been in like Generation 7, which was great. Like, I didn't like a lot of things about Sword and Shield, but the drawing style was not one of them. Then in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, they decided to experiment, and I think that they experimented too hard. Like, the concept art and the illustrations of the characters look so much better than what they do in game. Pokemon Legends ZA managed to make characters not look as doughy as Scarlet and Violet. I really don't know how, but it is something that, you know, like, it doesn't look as good as Sword and Shield, it doesn't look as good as Sun and Moon, but it does look better. It is like a step in the right direction, I think. Yeah. Nearly forgot. Pokeball scavengers that return your lost balls for free. For free? Yeah, like, it is a bit unfair. It is unfair, and I mean this, like, on the side of the player, because, like, oh, that means that you can just waste Pokeballs and not worry about it because someone will go back and catch them, and I'm like, okay, can you also get me that Riolu that I didn't manage to catch? I mean, then I went back to the same place and caught a different Riolu. This time a girl. I named her Nadia. She's already a Lucario. But yeah, so, and my team is also looking super basic. I mean, I can, like, remake it if I make a new game. So, like, there's no issues there. So basically, I have a Feraligatr, then I have a Lopunny, a Lucario, Bryson at the moment, an Absol that is related to the plot. And the last spot in the team has been I've been the guy cycling it. Like, right now there's been a Skiddo in there. I used to have a Meowstic before I got Bryson. And now I have an Eevee there, probably gonna evolve it into a Jolteon or a Glaceon. I'm not sure. Probably a Jolteon, so I can deal with, like, flying types and water types in one fell swoop. Like, basically, usually my teams either have a grass type or an electric type. Usually I always have something to deal with water types, usually. So yeah. This game holds your hand like you're a kindergartner, and kindergartners could play Gen 1 games just fine in the 90s. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you could read English. If you could read English, then yes. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Oh, wait, I just remembered, one... Okay, let me see. Oh, and the competition, within the genre of Pokemon, like Digimon and Palworld, are doing really well, and a good amount of things better, or as good as Pokemon for less money, that it's calling to. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, and this is actually something that my brother and I talked about, a little, before I came to stream. Hello, Johnny. Welcome. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit better. It's calling to question Pokemon Company's quality and priority for the games, especially with their wealth. I mean, yeah, no, I definitely understand that. However, I also think that... Here's the thing. The Pokemon franchise sits on a weird spot when it comes to like video games in general. it's to the point where sometimes I don't even consider Pokemon a video game franchise because it's not. It's because it's much bigger than that. Pokemon games sell well because they are Pokemon games. Like, people have different reasons to enjoy them than they would like Digimon or... Acknowledging Palworld's existence is so hard for me. You have no idea. Like, I just look at Palworld and I see, oh, hey, cool, I guess. I don't like that this exists, honestly. I really don't. I see this kind of like I saw Shrek way back in the day. Like, oh, this thing is popular? Well, let's make a deconstruction of it so that people see how silly it is, and maybe they'll stop liking the other thing and like us instead. Woohoo! Except that I think that Palworld has... less artistic merit than Shrek! I'm sorry. I just don't see Palworld as an artist. Like, I see no artistic merit in a game like Palworld, like at all. Like, I don't. Atari is a certified Palworld hater. I don't know if I would call myself a hater. Probably you could call me a hater. Again, I don't like that it exists. I don't like that it keeps being brought into conversations about game quality, especially in comparison to Pokemon. I don't like seeing the designs of the Pokemon. I don't like how it looks. I don't like the mechanics. To me it screams like, oh, guys, remember Minecraft and remember Raft? Yeah, let's make a game like that, except with not Pokemon in it. And you can be mean to the Pokemon, and you can just throw things around like in Gmod and whatever, and it's like... it's that kind of like modern gaming that I really do not like and do not have any interest in. Like, at all. Like those kinds of games, like, no. No, this is not why I play video games, guys. Oh, but it's so free, you can do whatever you want. I don't care, okay? That's not why I play games. If I want to play games to do like whatever I feel like it, I would play The Sims. Unfortunately, I only play Sims with mods. And I need to readjust all my mods because I had to delete The Sims 3 from my computer because it was eating up the hard drive. So, yeah. Oh man. Let's see. Question. Okay. At least that's what I think from what I've seen. It's multimedia. Yeah. What's wrong with Shrek? I mean, you're not wrong, really. No, like the thing about Shrek, I have a very complicated relationship with Shrek. One of the major things about Shrek that I do not like is how it looks, and if you know me, you know that that's already something that makes it very hard for me to enjoy something. If I don't like how it looks, then it's going to be very hard for me to go past just the appearance of the thing. Also, Shrek was made with a lot of bile, a lot of vitriol for what was the status quo at the time, which was Disney. But Disney, while they were not doing a lot of like wrong things, it was during the Disney Renaissance. Like, a lot of what Shrek was lampooning was what came before the Renaissance. But because of re-releases and whatnot, and people losing track of time, the parody, well, the mean-spirited parody that Shrek was, even though if you actually look at the Disney movies, like, and you try to see what are they lampooning? Like, Sleeping Beauty? Wow, guys, way to completely miss the point of the entire movie. Like, way to completely miss the point. Like, that's what I don't like about Shrek. It's a parody that misses the point. Ooh, it's fairy tales, but they're all wacky. Haha. People were doing that in the 60s, and they were doing it better. Fractured fairy tales, and the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. They were doing that a lot better than you. Do not pat yourself on the back so hard. Like, no, like it's the arrogance. It's the arrogance that I don't like in Shrek. I do like some aspects of the movies, but there's that arrogance thing that I can't. There's the arrogance, and there's the appearance thing. There's the aesthetics thing that really makes me like, okay, no, yeah, this is not for me. Wait, and that's perfectly fine, dude. No need to be so antsy. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I do? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, one of the cover mons is basically Totoro fused with Electabuzz. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't like it. It's just, like, super uninspired. Like, what were you referring to when you were around? You seemed really concerned about criticizing, Pal World. I mean... I don't know. I think that seeing how people react to these things, like, for example, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I know that there's people review bombing, like, Pokemon Legends ZA and Digimon Time Stranger, and saying that Digimon Time Stranger is so much better than Pokemon Legends ZA, and, like, trying to compare the two. And I'm like, they're trying to do completely different things. Why do people do this? Why do people do this? Why do people do this so hard? And why do people pick teams and just go like, oh yeah, just crap on everything, or just like, I mean, I do the same. I do the same, don't I? I do the same, don't I? I mean, I just went completely off on Pal World. Hello, PPA. Let me see. I think the one Pokemon Company shouldn't have sued or done any patent stuff because sadly people will keep bringing it up. Yeah, and sadly it's not the 90s anymore, isn't it? People know about these things and they're just gonna talk about them. They're just gonna keep bringing them up, and nobody is gonna be able to go on with their lives as usual because people are always gonna be like, oh, you should care about this a lot! And if you don't care about this, you're the enemy! That happens so often nowadays. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of it. It's the point where I don't even know if I can talk about stuff. Hence my whole thing with Pal World, for example. I know that there's a lot of people who really like Pal World. Like, I've been asked on these streams if I was gonna play Pal World, and I pretty much said no. I didn't go off as much as I did, like, this time, but yeah, no, like, that's fine. I personally feel like the reasons you don't like Shrek is some of the reasons why I like Shrek. I mean, yeah. Mind you, I enjoy Shrek a lot. I mean, yeah. No, like, here's the thing. for a time I liked Shrek okay, then Shrek 3 came out and I was like, okay, this is the first movie where I feel like I've wasted money. And I didn't even have to pay for the ticket. My aunt paid for the ticket for this movie and I still feel ripped off. Like, but you know, Shrek 3 is what we know. But that means that, like, for example, I never watched Shrek 4. I never watched Shrek 4 because, like, I just had no interest in it. I've heard that it's actually not that bad, and I'm like, great, I don't care. I don't care all that much. I watched the first Puss in Boots movie. I regretted it. I did not like it, like, at all. Puss in Boots' Last Wish is the exception that proves the norm. But that could not even be like an actual Shrek movie and it would still work, so... So yeah, man. Look, rip into it! Rip into it, it deserves it. I barely hear people talk about Pal World anymore, let alone play it. It was a fad. Yeah. Okay, that does make me feel a lot better. a lot better. For example, remember back in 2013 when people said, "Oh, Pokemon is over. Yokai Watch is gonna take over from where Pokemon left off, and Pokemon is gonna just die out, and Yokai Watch is gonna be the future of Monster Companion games." And I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not, because here's the thing. The thing about Pokemon and Digimon and why they managed to survive, Digimon survive, whereas a lot of other Mon series or Mon games failed, is because, well, especially in the case of Yokai Watch basically makes it so that, oh, only this one person can talk to yokai and can actually, you know, be with them and command them in battle against other yokai, etc., etc. It's a very lonely type of thing, whereas Pokemon and Digimon put you, or whoever you want to be, into the midst of the action. Like, you can imagine your own Pokemon story, you can imagine your own Digimon story. Like, it's inclusive. It's inclusive like that. Monster Hunter Stories went the same way. Went the same way as Yokai Watch, except it did it in a slightly different thing. Oh, you want to have your own Monstie? You want to have your own special relationship with a Monstie? Well, tough beans. You're the main character, so the only Monstie you're allowed to have a special relationship with is Rathalos. They did it for Monster Hunter Stories 1, they did it for Monster Hunter Stories 2, and now they're gonna do it for Monster Hunter Stories 3 as well. Thanks, I hate it. But I do still like the Monster Hunter Stories games. I'm just saying, like, look, there is no way that this is ever going to supplant, like, Pokemon or Digimon. Like, you cannot, like, with this kind of structure, there is no way that you can reach even half of the heights that Pokemon and Digimon have. Okay? Like like, I think the closest thing that ever came to that has been, like, Metabots. But Metabots is very mechanically in gameplay is very, like, it's incredibly flawed. Like, the whole thing of, oh, if you lose a battle, you lose your meta parts. Okay, so you mean that the Metabot that I got at the beginning of the game, like, at some point I can just lose his arm or his legs, and there aren't any stores where I can buy spares. Like, I can't get them back. Oh, I wanted a full Metabee from the beginning from the beginning of the game to the end game. Oh, you're telling me that I can't if I lose one battle with Metabee and I have to relinquish one of his parts? Like, what if you lose the head? What if you lose the head? It's not even. It's not even Metabee anymore. Like, what are you doing? are you doing, Natsume? What is this? But yeah, I really think that that's the one major reason why Metabots was never able to get anywhere. That and like the marketing was a little bit all over the place, like, you know, because they had the anime and stuff, but then they didn't coordinate things. Like, for example, in like the only Metarot game that ever came out in the US was not a remake, but like a polished version. I mean, you can call it a remake. It was a remake of Metarot 2, and that's it. Like, that's it. Okay, let's see. I haven't done anything else for the last 20 years or so. Shrek 3 is the worst anyway. To be fair, no way to know back in the day. Yeah. Okay, people said that about Yokai Watch. Yes. Yes, they did. Yes, they did, Barney. Like, they were touting Yokai Watch as the thing that finally was gonna bury Pokemon, as if Pokemon was something, was like an evil entity that needed to be destroyed off the face of the earth. I mean, like most mainstream things. Like, people say that about Disney, people say that about, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that there's people who say that about like Star Wars or something. Like, I don't know. But yeah, like, as soon as something is popular, in mainstream, people are going to be like wishing for their downfall, like, immediately. And like, Pokemon is an easy target. It's because, you know, much like, there's a lot of parallels between Pokemon and Disney, I feel, except that I can understand some of the choices that go into, because Pokemon is a multimedia franchise. They're not just doing the anime, or they're not just doing the games. There's always something Pokemon related that you can enjoy. With Disney, it's a lot tougher, especially if you go like, oh yeah, I like Disney, I love the Marvel movies. The Marvel movies have nothing to do with Disney except for the fact that they're released and funded by them. Like, this is not Disney. Like, you go back to the 80s and say, oh yeah, the Avengers is Disney. What? No. Yeah, I know, right? The Last Wish does not feel like a Shrek spin-off. This starts off with a fairy tale without any irony. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, like, that's why I like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, because it does not feel like Shrek. Like, it does not feel like Shrek, and that is a good thing. That is a good thing. And then they go like, oh, we're gonna bring Shrek back. We're gonna do a Shrek 5. And I'm like, why? Why? Okay, like, I'm not like a Shrek hater. I don't hate Shrek like I hate Pal World, okay? Like, I'm okay with Shrek's existence, but I'm like, I was kind of glad that it was allowed to, you know, leave somewhat gracefully, because I heard that the 4th movie isn't that bad. But like, nope, we're gonna bring it back, and I'm like. By the way, I've heard people have I heard people have issues with Shrek's new design. I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't really care. If it becomes important, like culturally, I'll watch it. But like, oh my god. Like, you wait for Puss to rip off the storybook page about the wishing star, and it just doesn't happen, yeah. Meanwhile, Pokemon still like hotcakes on the Nintendo Switch, and you know Pokemon Go. Okay, Pokemon will kill Pokemon in the end. Yeah, if anyone can kill Pokemon, it's Pokemon itself. Like, the threat is not going to come from outside. That I guarantee you. That I guarantee you. If anyone kills Pokemon, it will be Pokemon. Why is every Smash killer cursed? Because they misunderstand what made the original so special in the first place. Also because the original was kind of an accident, and nobody understands that. Everyone just goes like, "Oh yeah, we are going to make a game in which you can put in all of your favorite characters, but only the ones that are like current or meme-worthy, because you know that Gen Z, they love their memes." I'm just gonna say this. Black-haired Dante in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, and no Spyro, and no Crash Bandicoot. That is all that I have to say. Like, why do Smash clones do not work? Because of that. Because they have their priorities on the wrong things. That's it. Like, you try just making a fun brawler with all of your different properties, like with low polygons and just an excuse to have fun, like the original Smash was. It's not gonna work. Pokemon is an evil entity that needs to be destroyed at this point. I'm tired of seeing its disgusting, bloated... Okay, PPA, that's too much. That's too much. That's across the line. How much is hate, criticism, and fear of monopolies? The fear of monopolies is a fairly recent phenomenon. So I think that a lot of it is just like it's kind of like what Neuron said, like it's irony, like, oh, everyone likes this thing but I don't. You couldn't even finish Puss in Boots 1. I mean, yeah, no, I understand you. Irony was the counterculture, now today it's sincerity. Yeah, which comes with some consequences. Shrek is pretty much a product of the times. Looks at Shaggy in multiverses. Yup, there you go! Every other Smash-like game just feels mid, no matter the hype of quality. To me, that's more contrarianism. Yeah, which hipsters made popular in the 2000s. Like, thanks hipsters. I mean, look, I know that there's a certain appeal to liking things that are outside of the mainstream. However, there's one thing about mainstream media that I think a lot of people neglect to talk about or consider how it makes you feel, how it affects people, and that's why PPA, you're under a warning. That's really why you're under a warning. I understand seeing a franchise that you love, just not be what you wanted it to be anymore. Believe me, I know. But here's the thing, and this is why I will not tolerate things like what PPA said. Mainstream media is mainstream media for a reason. And we have to take into consideration that a lot of people look to this media as a source of comfort. And when it starts failing, it's hard. It's hard, and sometimes it's harder. Sometimes it's hardest on the people who look to it for comfort. I'm not saying that comfort is like this thing that everyone seems to abide by, like, you know, like, you know, that it's disrespectful to interfere with people's comfort, but you can at least be mindful of it. You can be at least mindful of it. You can be at least considerate of it. Because we're talking about fictional properties. We're not talking about you know, anything more important than that. But fiction and fantasy are like so important. They're so important in people's lives, and I am going to be completely honest with you. Seeing the state that Disney is in nowadays hurts a lot. Disney was one of the things that kept me going when I was a little kid. Every year there was a new movie that you know was going to be good, to look forward to. Because there was really, like, every movie was an event, and every event was special. Seeing what has become of Disney in these last few years has been disheartening. But the difference between Disney and Pokemon is that with Disney, each movie is a movie, and there's a lot more Disney movies than there are Pokemon movies. Or that is true, but like there are Pokemon games. Let's put it like this. And to me, while admitting that I like Disney nowadays, like I never thought that admitting to liking Disney would be something that would make you like be looked at with bad eyes on the internet. Like that thought was never ever on my mind. Like, you could get some you could get some you know, the hipsters and stuff like that. But I never thought that admitting to liking Disney would be like one thing that would make people go like, oh, so you're a Disney shill. No, I'm not. And the same thing goes with Pokemon. You can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want about these franchises. They're not going to go anywhere. I was pretty excited to hear about a new Shrek movie, but I have no idea what it's going to be about. I've moved on from Disney. I like their old stuff, but times change. I mean, yeah. At some point, you just need to let go and look for something else that brings you joy. Of course, there are fortunately still many new things. Yeah, bad eyes. That's one way to put it. At the risk of prolonging this Zatsu, I will tell you an epiphany that I had about Disney and Hollywood at large. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Go right ahead. That is a lot easier. By the way, PPA, that is a lot easier said than done. Also, why should you discard something that still brings you some of that joy, some of that comfort, some of that nostalgia? Like, I don't want to let go of Pokemon. There's still all the past games, there's still the movies, there's still the anime. Like, I still like all of that. Why would I stop liking Pokemon? Why would I stop liking Pokemon when all of that still exists? The same thing with Disney. Like, the movies that I enjoyed are still there. Like, I'm not gonna let go of the entire franchise just because I don't like what they're doing like nowadays. These things ebb and flow. Like, I have no reason to. Basically, the younger gens of writers and directors are going through the same stagnation as anime did in the mid-2000s. Oh, okay. Elaborate, please. Elaborate, please. The conversations between mainstream stuff and non-mainstream stuff is very toxic and unproductive to bring bigger issues of media as a whole. Yes. Yes. Every piece of media is also a product of its time, and people keep forgetting this! People keep forgetting this! If the times are not good, then it's not going to produce... Well, sometimes the worst times bring you the best stuff. Because, you know, stuff made under duress and whatnot. But yeah. You don't have to fully let go. Yeah, I know. I'm not talking about continuing to enjoy the aspects you used to enjoy, but selectively ignoring the newer stuff that offends your tastes. Offend is such a strong word, though. Like, you know, the only movie, for example, the only movie that to me is offensive, the only Disney movie that to me, for example, is straight up offensive in how bad it is Wish. I don't think that any other movie can claim that crown. Like even movies that I don't like Strange World. Like I don't see anything like offensive about Strange World. If anything, is like it's just super mediocre. But like I can't really like hating a movie for being mediocre. That's a little bit silly. Yeah, when the original generations of otaku started making their anime, it was actually a celebration of pop culture at large. In the mid-2000s, otakus started making anime based more on their subculture. It became an Ouroboros situation. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, they started making more, like, the stuff that mattered to them instead of making stuff that mattered to them, but to them as a group, not to them as, like, oh, I think that this is a story... I think that this is a story that deserves to be told, and more like, I like this thing, so I'm going to make something with this thing. Being a Sonic fan is a roller coaster, yep. Preaching to the choir, brother. Yeah. 100th anniversary movie, by the way, yup. I would argue Rise of Skywalker would fall under that. Yeah. On the right side, things are looking up for Sonic fans. Sonic is in a renaissance right now. It hasn't been this consistently good since the 90s. Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about that. We've talked about how, yeah, like letting people who actually know what they're doing into the franchise. Like Sonic is so weird because like for so long it was handled by people who did not know what they were doing. And it still managed to garner a fan base. Like there's just something inherently appealing about Sonic to people. I think that's special. I think that's special. At this point, I'm just glad we are out of the 2010s. Oh yeah, the 2010s were terrible. Now looking back, looking back, the 2010s were just like, I think that the last good year that I had was like 2012. And even then I was like coming out of like a depression, but then like 2013 rolled around and it had its own problems, and then don't get me started on 2014 and 2015, like because then that's when I had, you know, my major bout of depression. Okay. I noticed Disney is accepting anime more with their manga and anime coming out. Oh yeah, there's anime on Disney Plus. You wouldn't know it though. Except that the anime that's on Disney Plus, it's like, okay, I can get why people would like this, but it's like, I don't know. This is not exactly have, you know. This is super niche. Like, this is more than niche. This is super ultra niche. Like, yeah. The situation was made worse by Suits throwing money at these otaku in order to cash in on the fad, and now the same situation is happening in Hollywood at large. Yeah, like so many movies have so much money poured into them, and then they all fail to make bank. Like, how? Like, movies 30 years ago didn't cost nearly as much. Movies didn't cost nearly as much, and they were able to, you know, they were able to make bank, and they were able to use that money to then make other movies that were also, like, they were expensive, but not, you know, like, the most expensive thing in the world. Like, oh my god, it's... A run button in a Sonic game? Like, why? I don't even hate Lost World. It was just a baffling game. Yeah, no, I still want to play it. Sonic Boom was the Sonic disaster. Yup. You know what's worse about Sonic Boom? They had all the ingredients to make something special with it, and they botched it hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, 2012, the year when we all thought the world was gonna end. One of the bests. I mean... when I say that it was one of the last good years that I had, it's very relative, because I was one of the people that desperately wanted the world not to end, because I've always had this thing of being afraid that other people know something that I don't, and that was very much the case for the whole 2012 thing. I honestly... Like, I thought that some people knew stuff that other people didn't, so that the world was actually going to end at that time, and that we just didn't know about it, but that there were some people who knew about it, but they were just not letting us know, and we didn't know if we had to be scared or not. Like, I mean... Now, looking back, it's really silly, and one of the main things that turned me into, like, a hardcore skeptic, like, really hardcore skeptic, it was realizing that, no, people will talk about things that they have no idea about, like, 155%. Companies are smart with money. Oh yeah, as you can plainly tell. Yeah, no, but there are some things. I mean, again, this is because of my own biases and my own ideas about Sonic and stuff. Like, Sonic Boom could have been so special, and yeah, no. Circumstances did not let it be what it could have been on a lot of things. Okay, hello Zen! Welcome! That was the less offensive one. Sonic 4 and Sonic Boom came in and blew up in the worst of ways, not to mention the Sonic Cycle bullcrap before Colors released. Yeah. Oh man, I remember the Sonic Cycle. Oh, terrible. No matter what happens with media, I always wanted creativity and the creators to be nurtured and be encouraged to make great art that influences people in a positive way and not be so corporatized. Yeah, it's like this. I will say that artists need to be kept on a leash. But how much lead that leash has is also a major factor in how in how things, because it's like this: if you don't keep artists on a leash, then sometimes you're just gonna get incomprehensible bits of quote unquote art that almost nobody can enjoy, like almost nobody but the artists themselves. So there is something to be said as to, you know, not giving artists the complete reign. Artists need editors. Like editors on their own can't do anything, but artists without an editor, they can go way too far with some things, and you know, either lose the audience, lose funding, lose a lot of things, you know. There always needs to be someone to keep the artist in check. Let them do what they're best at, but within reason. And reason does not have to be censorship. Reason does not have to be censorship. You can let them go wild, but that wildness needs to be somewhat controlled. I don't know, like, you get what I'm saying? It's a fine balance. It's a fine balance, but it's achievable. I love Sonic Lost World, yeah. Oh my god, there's so many. Oh no, there's so many things. There's so many things that I that I missed. Okay. Hello Jonathan Pearson, welcome. Sonic Forces and Colors Ultimate were a wake-up call. Yeah, no, especially, like, I would say especially Sonic Forces, because it really forced them to be like, okay, tone is important. Like, there's so many people who don't realize how much tone is important in stories. Like, you cannot tell any sort of story and forget about the tone. You need to know what tone you're going for. Otherwise, you end up with Sonic Forces. Otherwise, you end with Lunatics Unleashed. Which is so tonally confused. Like... like, you wanna know, like, works of fiction that have tone down to a T, because they balance things out, like... I mean, tone is one of the reasons why the Sonic movies sometimes are seen as, you know, kind of weird. It's because for some people the tone is not consistent. I mean, I can roll with the tone whiplash that the Sonic movies do. It's a kind of tonal whiplash that I like, and I do not mind at all, but I understand that to some people it can be jarring, which is perfectly exemplary of what I mean. Like, I don't know, man. Writing stories is fascinating. The 2010s were a rough time for Sonic fans. A bland corporate style, bad character writing, extremely mixed games. Yes. Yeah, you pretty much summed it up. Generations stood above the rest of that era. Also because Generations was the start of a lot of the bad ideas that we had during that era, but at the time people didn't know. People didn't know that that those ideas were going to be a problem. Only when they started seeing them over and over and over again did they start seeing, oh wait, but this was already back there. Well, why didn't we know? Excuse me. I think the key is not to put the artist on a pedestal, but the art. Yes. Yes, that is a good way to put it. Yes, Elmer has the right idea. The art mustn't be about the person of the artist, but any interest in the artist must be derived from the quality of their art. Oh, you heard that? You heard the cats. You heard the cats knew around. I thought that they were far away enough. You gotta control the chaos. They had a list of characters that people didn't like, probably the press and forum dwellers, and kept rejecting them until it was just Sonic left. It was so stupid. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Why? Why would you? Yes. But yeah, the 2010 sucked for Sonic, but while I was a Mario fan, I was slowly enjoying Sonic as time went on. Yeah. Most great art in history was not created by artists looking for a way to express themselves, but on the commission of tasteful patrons. Exactly! Exactly. Sony. Yeah. Like, why was Sonic cracking jokes and acting like things were chill after getting tortured for 6 months? Yeah, like... Yes! I have special ears! Okay, guys, new around can hear you! Come on, meow some more! Kiva, Luna! I'm not gonna say anything about Nemo because he's stuck in my mom's room, okay? Hell, he went through more torture and unleashed opening cutscene. I mean, yeah, like... You know what? That makes it worse! That makes it worse that they thought that was appropriate! Like, what the... Why? Why did you do this? Like, oh... Okay, dude, guys, in order to do something like this, you need to create a tone similar to what, I don't know, Sonic Set AM did. Like, it would make sense in that context. The context and tone are so important, you guys. Why did that... But... We'll complain about Sonic Forces when we play it, okay? Okay. Oh, gotta go take a shower, okay? Seeing Blast Processing 8 bits, okay. Or just seeing a bit, okay. Okay, Helmer. Y'all just picked the One Ring back up. It wasn't so bad. Yeah. I thought Sonic Colors, or technically Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, were the beginning of the meta era. More Sonic Colors. It was more Sonic Colors. Sonic Riders Zero Gravity came out in 2008, if I'm not wrong. I think it was still before Unleashed. I think it was still before Unleashed. I mean, I have it over there. I'm just gonna check. I'm just gonna check it. Okay. Shift into zero gravity. Buckle up as Sonic Riders returns with an awesome new racing challenge. Gravity control. Ride as one of 18 characters. Pull zero-G stunts to get vertical and grind on anything that floats in the wildest racing experience yet. Results may vary. Okay. Instructions unclear. I am now stuck in my ceiling. What should I do? Okay, let me see. Oh, great! They put the little thing on top. Okay, let me see. Made in Austria. My copy of Sonic Riders Zero Gravity was printed in Austria. Interesting. Okay, PlayStation, blah, blah, blah. Where's the date? Where's the date on this thing? Come on. For home use only, unauthorized copying, adaptation, rental, lending, distribution, extraction, resale, arcade use, charging for use, broadcasts, public performance, and internet, cable of... Okay, and you're around. Okay, thank you for being here. Even if you didn't get to see any gameplay. Cable or any telecommunications, I can't read. This product or any target. No. Where is the stupid date on this thing? Are you gonna tell me that you don't have a date anywhere on this? Oh my goodness. Thank you for purchasing Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. Please note that this software is designed for use with the PlayStation 2 computer entertainment system. Be sure to read the software manual thoroughly before you start playing. It doesn't have a date. Nothing has a date in this stupid thing. Come here, instruction manual. Okay. Okay, the only date that I can make out here is 2008. So yeah, there you go. It didn't come out after 2008. Yeah. This is the latest that it came out. Yeah. So, Sonic Riders Zero Gravity aside, I'd say Sonic 4 started. It came out in October 2010. Free Riders and Colors were both November. Oh, yeah, okay. But that does mean that they were being developed at the same time. Also, the fact that the world went to ruin just without Sonic, like Tails, Knuckles, and the rest were done dirty. Yeah. I think it was a situation where Pontac and Graf wanted to make things sound more serious and dire. Oh, Free Riders. Okay, yeah. Okay, I just went on this whole tangent looking at when Sonic Riders Zero Gravity came out. It was over a typo. Okay. I think it was a situation where Pontac. I do think that they were put into in a no-win situation. Like, how are you gonna write this kind of story when you also have these mandates and these limitations in place? It's pretty much, if not impossible, it's not completely impossible, but it requires time and effort. And sometimes, a lot of times, raw talent. It takes a combination of all of these things. It takes raw talent, it takes effort, and it takes time. And it takes a lot of know-how. It takes these four things to be able to make something good with what they were given. And I think that some of these things, I'm not sure which, because I don't know about Pontac and Graf as, writers not for Sonic. I'm not gonna say anything to disparage their actual work as people. What I know is that their work on Sonic wasn't very good, so when I talk about Pontac and Graf, I talk about their work on Sonic, on the Sonic game specifically. I'm not going to say anything about them being bad writers or anything, because that's a very small slice of what I believe they have done. So yeah. Sonic 4 was poo. Free Riders didn't function, yeah. I am curious about Free Riders. Because I heard so much about it. How many VTubers have played Sonic Free Riders? I mean, it's nowhere near the top of my list, because I am still so happy that I am the one VTuber who has played Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow and is still, and I haven't finished it just because I am not, because I was kind of recovering from my mental breakdown. But yeah, just bring out Silver and ruin his future again, then you have more creative freedom. I can't really argue with that, can I? Oh man, Sonic 4 was all nostalgia and no flavor. Yeah. Tastes like air. If you're gonna play Free Riders, play it with the controller mod. If we get to that point, I will. I'll probably try it both ways. I'll probably try it both ways just to see the difference. And hopefully not get motion sick. I don't get motion sickness that easily. At least I didn't used to. Mania and Generations had flavor and polish. Sonic 4 had neither of those, yeah. Silver's future Trunks, yet he gets treated like Yamcha. Sonic Team! Okay, this is a little bit late because now they're not doing it anymore, but just imagine that we're back in 2015. Imagine that we're back in 2015, and I am going to call Sonic Team on the phone and tell them, yeah, yes, hello, is this Sonic Team? Will you please stop turning every single character into Yamcha? Thank you. Click. Because that is what they did. They turned every single character into Yamcha. What the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, no. What is your deal with Yamcha? What makes Yamcha so special? Silver's treatment hurts because psychic powers are my favorite kind. Oh yeah, same. I love psychic powers. I love psychic powers. Lyra, when she was conceptualizing me, she decided not to give me, like actual like telekinetic powers, but she did have the whole thing in mind of the whole thing of sight beyond sight. That's a big part of why I love Star Wars. The Jedi are psychic samurai. Can't wait until the year 2036, 20 years silver. And this is coming from a Yamcha fan. Yeah. What's worse is that the game is it was called Sonic 4 entirely for marketing reasons. It was not meant to be a sequel to Sonic 3, but it was a 2D game. Everyone's angry, so bait him. Yeah. Come to think of it, Krillin wouldn't look too out of place as a playable Sonic character. He's the fastest human alive! He's also the fastest to die. Wait. He did it twice! Wait. The protagonist of my book was gonna be telekinetic at first. I ended up giving him more unique abilities. Yeah. Yeah, no, like that's something that happens when you're writing when you're writing like when you're creating your characters and stuff. Even as a mobile game, it doesn't play that well. Yeah. Okay, I have just looked at the time, and I forgot to mention at first that today I was not going to, like, the stream was not going to be as long. Oh my goodness. I just went off. I just went off, man. But we need to play some frames. We need to play some frames that are fatal. I made him a space warper instead. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, one idea that my brother had for a Sonic fan character, and that I later refined, was there was this crow named Rave the Crow. And his whole thing was that what? Huh? Oh no! Oh no! The stuff is not connected. Oh no! I forgot that the things were not connected. Oh no! Okay, no, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Rave the Crow, lol. Yeah. You can always change the title to Azatsu and pretend nothing happened. Yeah. Yeah, I could do that. Because it's not because we're not because we're not gonna get very far. We're not gonna get very far in the game. I can already tell. So yeah, I'll probably change this to Azatsu later. So yeah, there were 2 Zatsus in this week. Yeah. For mostly Amy. What do you think? I think that Knuckles should get a year as well, but I think that they think, oh, he got 2022, that's enough. And I'm like, no, that's not enough. You did not know that you were gonna do these year of character things back then. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. Also, he didn't get a game. He didn't his show didn't even come out during that year. So yeah. Amy is not as popular as Sega wants her to be, yeah. So yeah, actually, can I change the stream? Can I edit the stream, like, as I am streaming it? Wait a second. Luna? Luna, what are you doing? Meow? No, she wants to go to the balcony. My mom is there. Okay. Okay. Zatsu. This was supposed to be a game stream, but fate had other plans. Oops. And gonna change the thumbnail as well. Okay. I think that now it's I think that now it's done. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, there's 6 people currently watching. Hello, 6 people. Tails and Knuckles are perfect for this. Oh yeah, no, they are. The problem with the Year of Metal, Sonic, and Amy is that it's becoming an argument where a part of a fandom only wants only one or the other. Yeah. Yeah. Look, here's the thing. Metal Sonic is popular, but I'm not sure if you can... I don't know. Could you imagine, like, a whole game with Metal Sonic as the main character? Like, what would that be about? Yeah, Knuckles Chaotix was about, well, the Chaotix. Knuckles and Mighty were more like bonus characters. I mean, yeah. I still like the idea that Knuckles and the Chaotix know each other, though. But she can be popular with the movies and stuff. Shadow was mischaracterized until he got his gear. Mm-hmm. Yup. That is so true. And I am so happy. I am so happy that Shadow Vegeta is no longer a thing. Shadow Vegeta. That kind of sounds like, you know, the dark power-up for Vegeta. Oh no. It's like dark, but it's not dark, it's shadow. Ew. But she can be popular with the movies and stuff. Oh yeah, the Sonic fans are too divided for their own good. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, no, that is true. Remember when we said that Pokemon has, like, mass appeal, and that no matter what the franchise does, there's always going to be people who like it, and there's always going to be people who don't like it as well. Sonic's fandom is smaller. It's not as mainstream, but it's also a lot more vocal and a lot more sectioned, I would say. Maybe. However, it got me thinking if they should always do a year of for every character, and something tells me that it's not always going to be something they can feasibly do for every character. Oh yeah, no, that is that is true. Is there anything that even defines the 2010s other than memes? Hipsters. I know I mentioned them before, but yeah, no, like hipster subculture. You know, like standing for nothing, like liking nothing, but also standing for nothing. That's what the 2010s were like. Yeah. Yeah, hipsters, the guys who are like, "Oh, I'm not into that. That's too mainstream. I only like these bands that like nobody knows about. You got to be in the know to know, you know?" Yeah. The 50s, heckin' wholesome. 60s, drugs and peace. 70s, fashion. 80s, vaporwave. 90s, punk. 2000s, counterculture. 2010s, chaos. That's it though, nothing else. Yeah, no, like, I think that would define the 2010s. And I say this as someone who was an adult throughout the entirety of them. An adult who went through crippling depression and anxiety. The 2010s were a time where people were kind of like, we were kind of getting to a point where things could be like, I don't know, workable, doable for most people. Like, the atmosphere didn't seem like it was going to be all that bad. But then in the middle of it, everything shifted. Like 2015, 2016, 2017, like everything shifted, and you know, like, and I don't mean the US. I don't mean just the US presidential election, because someone is going to immediately think about that. Like, it's kind of impossible. It's kind of impossible. We're talking about the mid 2000s and something changed. Oh yeah, no, but like one of the reasons why that happened was already in motion. Was already in motion before that. I am not going to say what it was, because it goes into some pretty dark territory and I don't want to talk about it. I'm just gonna say that it was there. It was a factor. It still is a factor, because the ramifications are still here, and because of the shifts in people's opinions about certain things. Things are liable not to get any better anytime soon, because too much damage has already been done. But this is not a political channel. This is not a political channel. Far from it. If anything, it's a history adjacent channel. So this decade is already Poe's Law. Yeah. I think some Sonic characters are either going to share years or simply be popped up more while Sonic Team works on a specific project. Yeah. Like Tails and Knuckles during the Sonic 2 movie, or the Racing with Friends for this year, and how the Babylon Girls have got more motion than before. Yeah, it's not even, yeah. Meow indeed, yeah. I don't know which one that was. I don't know if that was Luna or Kiba. It might have been Luna, because she's a lot more vocal than Kiba. But yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Tulu? Yeah. Such things are already in motion. Okay, I'm gonna shut up about that now. But yeah, it is interesting, because looking at like the 2000s, looking at the 2000s, it doesn't feel like, compared to the 2010s. Compared to the 2010s, the 2000s feel that they were a lot more chill. They were very depressed, but like, people didn't fear as much. And I say this like in general. I can't see. Yeah, no, I changed the stream to a Zatsu because with the runtime that I was expecting to have, there was going to be very little gameplay in this supposedly fatal frame stream. But yeah. One thing that I can actually like talk about, since this is now a straight up Zatsu stream, and I don't have to worry about. I can turn off the TV. Since we're not, since I don't have to worry about having time for the game again. Hello, Quiveran, by the way. I was thinking a bit. Yapping Vtuber remembers he games sometimes. Yeah. The frames were too fatal to deal with. You know this movie series called Pulse? Like, whenever we're talking about the frames being fatal, I remember one of the movies from that series which was called Fatal Pulse. Like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Oh, it's got a pulse, but it's fatal. Oh, but if it's fatal, how does it have a pulse? I don't know, it's fatal. I keep forgetting the he part. It's okay. It's okay. Just look at the chest. Just look at the chest area. There's nothing there. It's the clashing voice and model. Watch some 90s anime. Watch some 90s anime with the male protagonists, and it won't clash anymore, I promise you. Because I swear, some of those voice actresses, they were not even hiding the fact that they were actresses. Fatal Pulse, Peaceful Chaos. Maybe Fatal Pulse and Fatal Frame are cousins. I think that Fatal Pulse came out before Fatal Frame. Actually, let me check. Let me check real quick. Do. Okay, I think that Fatal Pulse. I'm gonna have to run a better check on this. I thought the Wikipedia might have it, but okay, what were we comparing it to? Like oh yeah, so Fatal Frame came out in 2001. You know when Fatal Pulse came out? 1998. No, 1988. 1988. So, yeah, we could say that Fatal Pulse came out just a little bit before Fatal Frame. Ash Ketchum, Bart Simpson, Black Star, who else? Timmy Turner, I mean, if you want more, like, anime characters, there's, like, a lot. There's, like, almost all the male characters in Shaman King. There's Kenshin Himura from Rurouni Kenshin. He was also voiced by a woman in the 90s anime. There's Conan Edogawa. There's CL Phantom Hive. There's a lot of characters in Inazuma 11, including the protagonist, Mamoru Endo, or Mark Evans, which version you prefer. There's Naruto. There's most of the male characters in Digimon. Most of the chosen children or tamers or whatnot. Like, for example, in Digimon Tamers, like, for example, like, the whole cast is just women. Like, the whole main cast, you know, the six okay, the 6 main characters, Takato, Gilmon, Henry, Terriermon, Rika, and Renamon, they're all voiced by women. So yeah. There's Edward Elric. There's there's Alphonse Elric. There's oh my god, there is so many. There are so many. There's Shaoran and Yukito from Cardcaptor Sakura. In fact, there's Shinji. There's Shinji Ikari from Evangelion. He's also voiced by a woman. In fact, he's voiced by the same woman who voices Yukito in Cardcaptor Sakura. Except that in Cardcaptor Sakura, she's not even hiding that she's a woman. Like, you listen to Yukito and it's like, oh, who's this lady? And it's not. Goku, Gohan, and Goten, all voiced by Masako Nozawa. There's Luffy. There's Chopper as well. Ben 10. It was Tara Strong, so yeah, like the same voice actors behind Timmy Turner. And Twilight Sparkle. But yeah. Oh man, if Johnny Bravo was voiced by a woman. No. Unless Jeff Bennett is hiding something from us. Like all of those characters, and it's still, just the first ones that are popping into my mind. I'm pretty sure that if I look like around my room or something, I'm also gonna come up with other characters. Oh, there's the voice provider for Len Kagamine. She's a woman. Like, she did the voice of both Rin and Len. Almost any like super fanboyish character is going to have a female voice actress. That's not like a hard rule, but it's very common. Rossyu in Gurren Lagann is voiced by a woman, even as an adult. Which is even better when you compare that to Simone. But yeah, Tara was everyone's childhood. Yeah, I wonder if there are any male VAs that voice female characters. There are some. Like, of course, it's not all that common. Going over the history of characters voiced by women, Bart Simpson. Yeah, like we already mentioned Bart Simpson. A lot of the kids in The Simpsons are voiced by women, and that's because, if you want to get technical, if you actually want kids to sound like kids, well, men are the ones who go through a voice change. Women also change the women's voices also changed a bit, but they don't change as much. A woman's voice is going to sound a lot like she did when she was a kid. And little girls' voices are barely indistinguishable from little boy voices. Which means that women are better equipped to voice little boys because their voices did not change. Linda and Tina Belcher, those are the only ones I know. Ayumu Murase, Japanese voice actor, he sometimes voices women because his voice is like one of those that is really able to blur the line. He's really good at keeping his voice like right in the middle. Like there's some lady voice actresses that are also really able to do that, like Mayumi Yamaguchi, Mitsuki Saiga, especially. Megumi Ogata is also really good at it. Romi Paku sometimes, even though her voice is very different. Then these two, Mayumi Yamaguchi and Mitsuki Saiga, are closer in terms of what their vocal range is like. Well, not their vocal range, like what their voice sounds like. The texture of their voice. Then Ramipaku is like on a completely different level. Lois, the only one voiced by Louise, yes, Louise in Bob's Burgers, yes. Or if their voices did change, then it's not too much to where they can still voice younger characters. Yeah, like I can tell you like one thing. I can tell you one thing that actually happened in my immediate family. Okay, so I think that everyone that's here, bar I don't know, like a couple of exceptions, knows that I have a brother who's also a content creator. His name is PS Weasel, and just today he was telling me how he told a friend that one of the hardest things for him to go through in life, well, hardest comparatively, like, was when his voice changed because he didn't want his voice to change. When we usually played with our toys, like, and made up our own stories and stuff and played characters and whatnot, we would both voice male and female characters. Our voices were not like very similar. Like, you could tell the difference between our voices. But since they were like in the same sort of wavelength, like the same sort of pitch, so to speak, like we could both pitch up and pitch down our voices. We pretty much played both male and female characters. He had a bunch of female characters that he voiced, and I had a bunch of male characters that I voiced. So yeah, we were always pretty like egalitarian when it comes to that, when playing with our action figures and little figurines and whatnot. And then his voice changed, and he was so sad. He was so sad because he wanted to still voice female characters, and he couldn't anymore. Because even though he could, it would never sound like a woman. It would never sound like a girl. It would always sound like a man trying to talk like a woman. So yeah, he was super upset. He was super upset about that. And I get him, and I think that if my performer was a guy, I think that she would have gone through something similar. Because can you imagine? Because can you imagine, like, okay, so you have an interest in playing characters, and when you're a kid, you can play anything that you want, anything goes, and then you grow up, and half of your range is just gone. That stings, man. That is really sad. I can do a somewhat decent girl voice, at least better than most guys. Oh, then cherish it, like like crazy. This is one of the things that when I think about trans people and the issues that they go through. One of them that I don't think that a lot of people think about is, the voice. Like, how do you get used to, like, because I can tell you, if my performer were ever to want to become male, I can tell you that she would not want the whole thing of, you know, oh no, I don't want my voice to be like a man voice. I want my voice to be similar to what it is now. Like if I can pitch it down a little bit, that's fine. But please do not rob me of the higher ranges. Like, no, that is not, no. You have a really good Woody Woodpecker impressions. Oh, right, because last time I tried laughing like Woody Woodpecker. I think that with some training I could actually do his laugh. But now it just comes out something like, man, that takes a lot of belly. Let me. That's not strong enough. But yeah, but there's a line of his that I love. Impulsive? No, I'm repulsive. That's from one of the shorts that I actually have, honestly. Like, I can do a good impression of Jury's English voice from Street Fighter. That is awesome. That is awesome, dude. I was playing an indie detective game recently. Most of the main characters are women, and it wasn't hard for me to voice them. Yeah, no, that is really cool. That is really cool. This is one of the struggles of being male. Yeah. That was close. Thank you. Again, I think that with a bit of training I could get there, but it would take that training. And I'm not sure like how interested I am in getting Woody Woodpecker in my range. Actually, that would be a very good thing. That would be a very good thing. Like, oh, can you do impressions? Oh, yeah, I can do Mickey Mouse. I can do Woody Woodpecker. And then people will ask me, whoa, who the heck is Woody Woodpecker? Okay, so that didn't work. I can do an impression of... Oh, man. You know... You are a Woody Woodpecker. Oh no! I've turned into a bird! I've turned into a bird! Truly, a fate worse than death! Wait a second. Like, right now in Sonic Riders, I'm using the Babylon Rogues, so yeah, no, I've turned into a bird in a Sonic game! Oh no! Oh yeah, Rocky! Of course, Rocky! Of course, Rocky! Oh man! Yes! Rocky the Flying Squirrel! It was June Foray! The legend! To paraphrase my fellow kids, the GOAT! Like, man, June Foray had such a history, and I think that a lot of people don't realize it. Like, she was awesome. I aim to be half the voice actor that June Foray was. I remember her saying in an interview that voice acting has to come from the heart, and that stuck with me. Like, it should be obvious, but it kind of hits different when it's being said by someone who's been in voice acting ever since the 40s, you know? And at the time was still alive to tell us about it. Like... Bullwinkle, I'm not sure that's a good idea. Of course it's a good idea. I came up with it myself. Yeah, that's exactly why I don't think it's a good idea. I go back to old school since my age is right to remember some of that stuff. I mean, yeah, look, Rocky and Bullwinkle have a very special place in my heart because, remember when I said that I was going through some really deep depression during some time? Yeah, one of the things that was kind of helping me, keep me grounded and focused was, going back and watching the entirety of the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, you know, like the one that started in 1959, you know, by J Ward Productions. So yeah, and in fact, I have mentioned it. I have mentioned it on this very stream. I mentioned fractured fairy tales, which was one of the segments in the show. As long as well as oh man, I don't remember what they called them, but like the Mr. Peabody and Sherman segments as well, which is what got me interested in Rocky and Bullwinkle. I watched the movie. I watched the 2014 movie. I like it. I liked it, and I wanted to look more into it. Then I found the show, and it was hosted on a site that was, well, let's just say that it was located somewhere in the Seven Seas, but doesn't matter. I was able to watch it because how else would I be able to watch it? So yeah, I was marathoning through it, and then life gets in the way, and I don't remember where I was anymore. But I was enjoying it. But I was enjoying it a lot. So yeah, really, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, Daniel. I sadly don't know who that is. I'm of the age range where I understand 67. 67? Oh, what? You understand 60? You understand 67 what's? What? 67 things? 67 jewels? 67 bottles of beer? On the wall? Okay. By the way, I can rest assured. I can rest assured that I am not the oldest person in the room right now. 6, 7, 6, yeah, no, 6, 7, 6, 7. Like, I don't. What? I don't. I don't know. I do like. It doesn't mean anything. Oh, wait. Is it like the meaning of the universe, the meaning of life, which according to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is 52? That was a tedious song game. What was? Actually, now that we're talking about, like older shows and stuff. Yeah, me and my brother yesterday, we went to bed late because my brother just randomly discovered that during the 60s there was this show which was like the Flintstones, but it was set in Rome, and it was called the Roman Holidays. And that led us down a rabbit hole of finding out what other Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like what was the last Hanna-Barbera cartoon to be made, like as a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, like not a cartoon for Cartoon Network, like actual Hanna-Barbera. Just okay, the one thing here is Hanna-Barbera, and apparently it was Johnny Quest. It was like it was a 96 reboot of Johnny Quest. What else did we find out? Oh yeah, he also decided to rewatch the opening of Jabberjaw, because why not? He still thinks that Jabberjaw deserved a reboot. I am of the same opinion, but I am of course biased because Atlantis. I only recently learned that 07 is supposed to mean a salute, because that's what it resembles. Yeah. that's one that I have used actually. But yeah, so from the Roman Holidays to Johnny Quest to Jabberjaw, then we've also rewatched like the opening of like SWAT Cats, and like a bunch of other shows, and I was like, see, this is the kind of thing that I also wanted to bring up in my own streams. Like my last stream was, you know, a little bit too angry for my liking. And I wanted my streams to be more about celebrating that old forgotten stuff that nobody even thinks about anymore. Like for example, the Roman holidays. But yeah. But my brother told me also that it's like, oh yeah, but it's kind of hard to do that through the medium of video games because a lot of these franchises and stuff only got games for consoles that are kind of old, and you don't have the consoles or you don't have the games. Like for example, there's a Tiny Toons game that I wanted to get for my Mega Drive, but I don't. Oh yeah, last stream was dark. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that this one is being slightly better. I mean, I hope it is. At least it seems a lot more balanced. Like, okay, there was some dark stuff. There was some dark stuff, some, you know, angry stuff, but there's also being some uplifting stuff. We're also talking about some fun stuff. So yeah. Grape Ape, Magilla Gorilla, Adamant, Secret Squirrel, Hong Kong Phooey. Yes! Oh man, I loved Hong Kong Phooey as a kid. Like, there was a time where when Cartoon Network ended, it would end with Hong Kong Phooey. There was another time where it ended with Wacky Races, and I also love Wacky Races. But yeah, like I would love to pitch a new, like a reboot of Hong Kong Phooey. Like bring it more in line. Okay, so you know Kung Fu Panda. Let's go, you know, a little bit in that direction. Except it's with Hong Kong Phooey. I think that it could work, honestly. Secret Squirrel that had that little also reboot in Two Stupid Dogs. Like, oh my god, I love Two Stupid Dogs so much. It's one of those shows that nobody remembers unless you're a nerd. Unless you're a nerd like me. Tennessee Tuxedo. Oh man, I don't remember that one. Let me check. Tennessee Tuxedo. Tennessee Tuxedo and His Tales. Let me see. Oh, this looks very Jay Wardy. Let me see. Is it? Wait, no. Written by no. What is it? Total Television. Underdog. I remember Underdog. Okay. Total Television. I didn't know. I didn't know the name of this. I mean, there's a lot of like animation companies, especially ones from like what is considered a dark age of animation, that were like super flyby. So I don't remember all of them. Like for example, I know that UPA was very important in the history of animation, but the only things that I remember them doing was Mr. Magoo and that one short. What was it called? Oh man, it was the name of a boy. Gerald McBoing Boing. Yeah, there you go. That was also made by them. Top Cat. Yeah, no, like Top Cat is Hanna-Barbera. Yeah. Top Cat is Hanna-Barbera. So yeah, of course it has a bit of a leg up over a Tennessee Tuxedo. Oh man, I was trying to remember what other things did we watch yesterday. Besides SWAT Cats. I also reiterated with him my wish to make a whole stream that is just a karaoke of old cartoon openings. He said that, oh yeah, doing that for the 90s, doing that for the 90s is going to be hard because during the 90s they went like, oh, we don't need like opening lyrics. We only need a song. And yeah, no, true. There were still some that had lyrics though. Like for example, oh man, this is super niche. Who who here who here even knows of happiness? I doubt that anyone here knows of happiness. It was a show based on, the Loch Ness Monster, in which you had, in which it wasn't just one Loch Ness Monster, it was a whole bunch of them, and they were called, well, Nessies, and each of them embodied a certain emotion, and their names were that emotion plus ness. So there was happiness, which was, your de facto main character. There was sweetness. There was silliness. There was coolness. There were villains. There were like selfishness. Like, oh yeah, Mighty Mouse. Yeah, no, I know. Some friends of mine had some episodes of the Funimation Mighty Mouse show recorded. And some other friends had a tape that had some, like, classic Mighty Mouse shorts. I never watched that because my friend told me, oh, you can't handle this. And I'm like, what? It's Mighty Mouse. What is Mighty Mouse gonna... Is Mighty Mouse gonna meet Hitler? Is that it? Because that Daffy Duck short scared me as a kid. Like, this is so weird to say, but yeah. So I have a tape that has that one short where Daffy Duck kicks Hitler's shin or hits his foot with a hammer. I don't know. And I could not watch that short as a kid because Hitler scared me. Hitler scared me as a kid, and I didn't even know who he was, or what he did, or what he represented. I just knew this man is very scary. He makes this ugly face. I am scared. Turn off the tape. Rageness? There was probably a rageness. I mean, that's fair. Yeah. That show could have made a Hello Darkness, my old friend, too easily. Yes, I don't know if they did. I don't remember if there was a Darkness. There was probably one. there was probably one. There was a Sadness. There was a Sadness and an Angriness who were both part of the good guys, actually. So, like, teaching kids not all of these emotions are bad, etc., etc. Scary mustache man, yeah, like he scared the bejesus out of me. You had a gut feeling, yeah. What did Arnold's grandpa? Did Arnold's grandpa pull a Jimmy McPherson? Did he did he fight Hitler and President Japan? Of course, his swastika was replaced with a frowny face. That is awesome. Hi, Cyanic. Did Angriness spam PK Fire? I don't remember what his power was. I think the Nessies. I think that the Nessies' power was to use their magic mirrors. Every Nessie carried a mirror on around their neck that carried their essence, and if that essence was lost, they would start to like wither and die. There was a whole episode where they had to go get a lost essence. Otherwise, one of the Nessies would die. Um, and yeah, and their power was to spread whatever emotion they represented onto something. There was one called forgetfulness. You can guess what he did. Andy Kaufman, the comment, did a routine of MM and only sang the one part of the song. What song? Yes, Arnold was like, "No, you didn't." In reality, the grandpa did outsmart a troop of German soldiers. I mean, that's still cool. That's still cool. That's still tell your grandkids about it worthy. They raided his rations truck, but it went bad, and he tricked them into eating it. Oh my god, that is such a Nickelodeon move. That is such a Nickelodeon kind of thing to put in your cartoon. Oh, they never shied away from being a little bit uncomfortable, did they? Yeah. Like it's to the point. But like I've mentioned here before. And then you whacked a major with a frying pan. Oh, a visionary, I see. Haha. But yeah. What was I talking about? No Angriness did not spam PK Fire, which made me go into a little bit more of what the Happy Nest show was. Oh, by the way, the Happy Nest show was one of those that also had like toys for it, which of course it did. Of course of course it had toys. I was just like surprised. I was surprised and not surprised at the same time. I was more surprised by the fact that Portugal didn't get those toys. But yeah, that opening song definitely had lyrics. Oh right, I was talking about the karaoke. And about like what songs I could showcase. And I was thinking, I don't know if the karaoke should just be songs from the 80s, 70s, and 60s, or if I should include, well, the 90s has this little problem that we mentioned. But then there's also the 2000s that also has like one or two shows that have lyrics, like for example, the Teen Titans theme song has lyrics, but right now I can't think of any. Oh wait, no. Ben 10 has lyrics. Danny Phantom has lyrics. Juniper Lee has lyrics. American Dragon Jake Long has lyrics. Kim Possible has lyrics. Oh man, okay. Those are all shows that I don't particularly like, but they do have lyrics, so they would be probable candidates for the karaoke. In fact, I'm thinking of more 2000s shows that have lyrics in their opening themes than 90s. Like the 90s. What shows were there with lyrics in their opening songs in the 90s? We live in modern times, but classic stuff made way for everything that's on right now. Never forget that. Oh, don't worry, Daniel. Don't worry. Like, I founded this channel on one specific sentence, one specific catchphrase. And that specific catchphrase is "May nothing be forgotten." So yeah, you can be sure that I am going to try my darndest to make sure that everyone who comes to this channel, at least in the very least, has a little feeling of that. I mean, Spider-Man's lyrics are a little bit... Oh, wait! Yeah, no, Iron Man, well... No, Spider-Man is like... Spider-Man, guitar solo. And then the lyrics are just something almost inaudible. Oh, by the way, yeah, Daniel, if you're curious, a few months ago, me and my brother sat down and made a tier list of every Disney movie released up until that point. Like, the only one we didn't include was Zootopia 2 because that one isn't out in theaters yet. So yeah, but we made a tier list of every Disney animated canon movie from Snow White to Moana 2. And it was fun. it was fun. I called him because he's the only other person that I know that has seen the entirety of the Disney animated canon. He was only missing Strange World, and one day finally he did it. So yeah, Iron Man had two opening themes. One, I don't remember if it had lyrics, but the other one just went, "I am Iron Man. I am Iron Man." Oh, there was a Fantastic Four show. There was a Fantastic Four show. That one had lyrics. That one had lyrics in the opening. There was an Incredible Hulk show, but I don't remember anything of it. Gargoyles didn't have lyrics. Batman the Animated Series did not have lyrics. Superman did not have lyrics. Iron Man. Okay, let me just... So yeah, the Fantastic Four had lyrics. Mighty Max, I think, did not have lyrics. Okay, I'm just gonna try to put out all the 90s cartoons that I can think of right now, like no matter where they're from. Of course, like, we're not talking about anime because, you know, most anime openings have lyrics. So yeah, we're not gonna talk about those. The only thing that we could do is get some of those like weird adapted shows, like by Saban or something, like for like Samurai Pizza Cats or Koala Boy Cocky. I think that it's Cocky or Rocky. I don't know. But yeah. Those did have lyrics, but again, they were originally anime. So yeah. Talking about superheroes, the Incredible Hulk from the 70s worked due to Bixby/Ferrigno working as one to create both sides. Oh. That is, yeah, like, there's a huge gap in my knowledge that I want to fill up. And I think that that's one of the things that has been missing, from my passion, about, you know, doing the streams and stuff. It's that whole thing of looking for obscure stuff and then showing it to people. And a lot of stuff from the 60s and 70s, and even 80s nowadays, kind of falls into that. How long did that Disney project take to complete? The stream, the stream only lasted like one session, which was like 5 hours, I think. But in 5 to 6 hours, we went through 63 movies. Like we already like, I had it kind of timed. Like, okay, so we're not gonna spend more than 5 minutes talking about each movie, which was difficult. Which was difficult because, of course, we have our favorites, and sometimes sometimes it's hard to. Sometimes it's hard to, measure yourself, especially when you're as much of a yapper as me and my brother. Like, we both share that trait. Like, he's been saying that he's been thinking about, maybe I should start streaming, and I'm like, dude, go for it. I know that you're gonna be good at it. Gotta catch them all. Yeah, again, that's also from the 90s, and that's also like an American. That's also a Western creation. It also has Western lyrics. But again, if we go down the rabbit hole of westernized versions of anime, then we have a lot of cartoons to go through. Even though I'm not thinking about many right now, because the whole thing about that stream, that karaoke stream, would be that, okay, no, these have to be like American, or well, Western. They have to be Western shows and Western music. It has to be Western music, Western songs. Like, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to put like a French thing somewhere in there. The yapping is in the blood. Yes, it is. Bad Guys with a decent animated film, as well as the sequel. I haven't watched either of those. I am interested in watching them, but I haven't been able to find psychological time to sit down and watch them. I think it's just a concept that on the surface it doesn't appeal to me all that much, but it's not like oh, it doesn't appeal to me all that much in the sense that, oh, I think this is going to be bad. No, it's one of those things that it's like, oh yeah, that's neat, but it's not exactly what I would go out of my way to watch, Like, for example, the Wild Robot movie is a bit more within the confines of what I would, go out of my way to watch. I thought of going to watch it in theaters while it was there. I ended up not being able to, because like other things happened. But yeah, okay. So just gonna spew out all the 90s animated shows that I can think of and try to think if they had lyrics. Godzilla, Transformers Beast Wars, Transformers Beast Machines. Okay, we're talking about openings. Like, I just remember Ninja Turtles Next Mutation and Power Rangers, but those are not animated cartoons, but they would air in animated cartoon slots. So those count? I'm not sure, because then VR Troopers also comes in. Let's see. Masked Rider. Okay, why am I thinking of all the tokusatsu now? Stop. We're talking about cartoons. We're talking about cartoons. Get the tokusatsu out of your brain. Okay. Speaking of brain, Adventure of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sad AM. Sonic Underground. Sonic Underground has lyrics. Kangu. Phantom Cat, Dexter's Laboratory, Cow and Chicken, Johnny Bravo, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Mike Lou and Og? No, Mike Lou and Og was already 2000. It was already the year 2000, I believe. The Rugrats, Real Monsters. Oh, what was it called? What was it called? It was not Jumanji, but Jumanji had an animated show. What was it called? The Wild Thornberries. There you go, the Wild Thornberries. Ask Ginger, I think, was also from 2000. I'm not sure. There was the Aladdin show. There was the Little Mermaid show. There was Goof Troop. There was Darkwing Duck. There was... I mentioned Mighty Max. Sonic Underground is the least Sonic thing in the series. Hey! I won't tolerate any naysaying of Sonic Underground. Yes, it's bad. Yes, it's stupid. Yes, it shouldn't exist. But it has Knuckles in it, and that makes it okay in my book. Also, I have nostalgia attachment to it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. That's one of the reasons why I'm not as harsh on Sonic Underground as I could be. Because, like, I know, like, looking back, you know, this is not good. This is not good. I still have to watch Wild Robot. I have to mentally prepare because I think it's gonna make me cry. Yeah. It's fairly emotional, not a super tearjerker, but yeah, it makes you feel. The Japanese version of the X-Men show has a vocal opening. Oh, so does the opening of TMNT 2003 and Transformers Animated. In fact, oh my god, the opening of Transformers Animated in Japan is done by Jam Project. Do you know Super Robot Wars? Yeah, those guys. It's amazing. I mean, okay, I don't remember the visuals, but the song. The song is amazing. I remember when every network channel did cartoons all morning long, usually on Saturdays. Yeah, you know, like the so-called Saturday morning cartoons. Yeah, like, I think that's one thing that everyone who's interested in animation misses. Like, even people who didn't grow up during the era where that was a thing. Like me. Like, I only caught the very tail end of that era. Like, and I'm from a completely different country. I'm not, like, we didn't really have, like, the Saturday morning cartoon culture. We had a cartoon culture, but not, you know, like, specifically Saturday morning. We had Saturday and Sunday morning, and then weekdays, and then weekdays, and usually there were 2 cartoon blocks on weekdays. There was one in the very morning and one in the afternoon. And then cable came in and destroyed all of that. Thanks. Okay. It was the first show besides the OVA to have Knuckles, but only in like 4 episodes. The OVA only has 2 episodes. The OVA only has 2 episodes. He's in both, but yeah, he only shows up like in the last quarter of the first one. So yeah, which was very weird. Yeah, no, it was like I have no idea what were the guys behind, what were the people behind Sonic Underground thinking to not include Tails? Like, I'm sorry, what? No, attach Knuckles to anything and Atari will spare his existence. Oh no! Oh no! I gave you too much power! I gave you too much power! Use it wisely. Oh, he was exactly in 4 episodes of Sonic Underground. Yes, you are correct. He was in his introductory episode, and then he was in a 3-parter. So yeah, of which I recorded the last episode, which also has an amazing insert song called The Mobius Stomp. Actually, that's another idea that I've been fiddling around with in my brain, which is, yeah, a karaoke dedicated to Sonic Underground. Like, yeah, let's do a karaoke of the songs from Sonic Underground. Like, of course, not all of them, because there's like 40. But but yeah, like every time that I think of the songs of Sonic Underground, like there's a couple that come immediately to my mind. Okay, going back to the cartoons, Rupert. Sticking around, I believe it's from the 90s. Triple Z, I think Triple Z is from 2000 and something, I believe. So yeah, other 90s cartoons. Come on, you know. Littlest Pet Shop, Tic Tac Toons, which was yet another adaptation of a Japanese property. Does anyone know Tic Tac Toons? I feel like I'm the only person in the world, me and my brother, who remember Tic Tac Toons. Okay, no, there was the Happy Days Gang and the Mystery and the Time Machine, but that was not from the 90s. It just aired in the 90s here. There was the Mortadelo and the Mort and Phil show, which also had an opening, and we got an English version in Portugal, which is weird because the show was made in Spain. Specifically, was made in Barcelona. The original was in Spanish. Why the heck did we get it from the English? That makes no sense. Okay. It was from the weird era where the US wanted Sonic to be darker. That's how we got Sonic Spinball, the darkest Sonic game besides Shadow the Hedgehog. You know, that is so weird to think about. Oh yeah, Sonic has had two very dark games, Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic Spinball. But that was always the major disconnect that there was between Sega of America and Sega of Japan. And Sega of Europe was just like, hey, yeah, we're just here doing our own thing. Yeah, the Sonic calls Tails Pixel Brain, and Tails is like, but he doesn't know anything about it. It's an abusive relationship. You can't see it. Sometimes I wish I had a 3D model just so you could see like my random thumbs ups. Yeah, Tiny Toons. I can't believe I forgot Tiny Toons. What the heck? Freakazoid, Hysteria, Animaniacs, Animaniacs and Freakazoid and Hysteria have songs in their openings, like with lyrics. So those could be options as well. Let me think. Think. Timon and Pumbaa. Timon and Pumbaa also had a show during the 90s. Quack Pack also existed. Sonic Spinball was peak Knuckles. I guess Sonic Adventure 2 would come close. Oh yeah, no, that was like, I think that Sonic Adventure 2, but especially Sonic Adventure 2 was the closest that we started coming to like an understanding between both sides of the Sonic decision making framework, so to speak. Like, because in terms of tone, because that's when they went shonen with it. That's when they turned Sonic into more of a shonen kind of thing, which again is what I feel Sonic is strongest at. Sonic is better when it's shonen AF. So yeah, I'm not saying that there's not value in trying to explore other venues, but usually if you want, like, the Sonic experience, usually it's going to be better if you approach it, if you approach the tone, if you approach the kind of stories that you're gonna tell to like shonen. Like, it's just something that we've been we've been being made aware of from some years ago to now. Like, Animaniacs had Minerva Mink far too adult for kids. Didn't stop the kids from watching, though. Oh yeah, Fleetway Tails is a jerk. It at least made the evil Supersonic more believable. Yeah, that wouldn't work with normal Sonic. Nope. Oh yeah, Fleetway Sonic. Yes. Yeah, that wouldn't work with normal Sonic. Like, it would have to be... I know that Fleetway did that. Okay, yeah, Supersonic is like, you know, Sonic turned up to 11, and that also means his meanness is turned up to 11. But I think that they actually made him like a separate personality, like you know, the superpowered evil side. But it's a superpowered evil side that has its roots in how the character actually acts. So yeah. Frontiers is Max Shonen Sonic, hence why I love it so much. So Sonic should be shonen in the main games and explore other types of genres in the spin-offs. I agree. I hope they will do that more. Do you think Frontiers in later games do that though? Yeah, no, Frontiers is pretty much like, okay, so the tone of Frontiers is pretty melancholic, and I don't think that Sonic needs to wallow too much in that melancholy, but it needs to be there. It needs to be there in some way, shape, or form, always like inferring everything, because I do think that Sonic and the world that Sonic has is a perfect vehicle to tell, you know, those kinds of stories that have meaning, stories that can, you know, resonate with people. The Adventures games were quite shonen as well. Yes. That's what he was. He goes mad with power when he goes super. Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, no, exactly. Like, again, like, and why is Sonic Heroes not as good? Because it's a lot more just going through the motions. Like, every single team goes through the same levels and the same order. Like, what story is there? None. Like, we're just going through the motions, and that's what a lot of games did later on. Like, one of the redeeming qualities of Shadow the Hedgehog is that, for better or for worse, they did try to tell a story, even though that story was very multiple choice, so you kind of go like, okay, so what is canon? I can tell you what is canon from, I can tell you 100% what's canon from Shadow the Hedgehog, the beginning and the end. That's it. The first cutscene is canon, and the last story is canon. That's all that is canon from Shadow the Hedgehog. Everything else, like, anything goes. Anything goes, alright? That's what was missing from 2020 Sonic. It felt way too sanitized. Exactly. It felt way too much like what Sonic Heroes was. Because Sonic Heroes was just like, and Sonic Heroes even went, you know, a little bit further. Like, you know, for example, with the whole thing of, oh, maybe Shadow is a clone. Oh no, what are we gonna do? Like, but it only touched on the very tippy top of the surface. Like, it didn't go any further than that. The most canon of Shadow the Hedgehog is the headache it gave to the fandom. Yeah. There was a bit of story in Sonic Heroes, but it took quite the back burner. Exactly. Like, no, like, the story in Sonic Heroes is, okay, so, well, spoilers here, for a game from 2004. So the story of Sonic Heroes is, Metal Sonic has rebelled against Sonic, rebranded himself as Neo Metal Sonic, and used the power of chaos to start copying data or whatever, and So Eggman called in the Chaotix somehow, I don't know, to solve the to free him because he knew that they were very good at their job, supposedly. Team Sonic is trying to stop Eggman as usual. Like, they don't know that it's not Eggman, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, like, Team Sonic is just going through the motions, you know, the normal the normal stuff that you would do in a Sonic game. Well, let's stop Eggman. There we go. Like, and we're not even talking about Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. We're talking about like every other game before that. Like, I think that Team Sonic's story has more in common with, I don't know, Sonic 3D Blast than it does with Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, honestly. Like, oh, Eggman has done something bad, but it's not actually, but it's not actually Eggman. But we don't know that, so we're just gonna treat it like it is Eggman. Okay, there you go. And for some reason, Metal gave himself a cool cape. Don't forget that. How could I forget the cool cape? No, you do not forget the cool cape. No, Neo Metal Sonic is peak design. Like, I love Neo Metal Sonic. I love Neo Metal Sonic, and I kind of hate that the Archie comics made him into just, oh, there's like a whole bunch of them, and I'm like, oh wow, no better way to cheapen a design than to make clones of it, dozens upon dozens upon dozens of clones of it. Yeah, sure, that sounds like a good idea. Good. Neo Metal Sonic is so cool, and you don't even get to fight that form. Yeah, no, that. Sonic Heroes is very well thought out, guys. It's so solid. I love it. I love it, especially when I'm trying to get on that stupid web at Mystic Mansion, and my character just flings himself off the wall and just never to be seen again into the abyss. Love it. My favorite thing in the world. But yeah, no, like there's still a lot to like about Sonic Heroes. Like I kid, but like I do have a lot of nostalgia for Sonic Heroes. Again, it was the first mainline Sonic game that I played when it was current. So yeah, like I would be lying if I didn't have, you know, that sort of, you know, thing with it. The development was chaotic. Here, it explains so much. But yeah. The Chaotix coming back from the dead was nice. Oh yeah, no, that again, that's another thing that I love about Sonic Heroes. If they didn't bring back the Chaotix then and there, like, they probably would have never brought them back. In fact, the rest of the games seem to be pretty adamant in not showing them. Like, for example, like the portable games, in the portable games, like the Chaotix was just not a thing, like at all. I actually think that we have to thank Shadow the Hedgehog for cementing the Chaotix as, no, okay, they are here now and they are a factor and they exist. So yeah, that is one of the things that I like Shadow the Hedgehog for cementing the new version of the Chaotix into the modern Sonic continuity. What is now known as the modern Sonic continuity. Did someone say Chaotix? Yes, Neku, someone said Chaotix. Yes, you have. Yes, you indeed have arrived. But yeah, I was trying to think of like the other stories, like Team Rose is there just because we need another team, I guess. And Team Dark, well, Team Dark is there because we wanted to bring back Shadow. That's why Team Dark is here. Like the only teams that you needed for Sonic Heroes to work were Team Sonic and Team Chaotix. You didn't need anyone else, because anyone else, like the whole thing with Shadow, you could have done that in Shadow the Hedgehog. You could have done that in Shadow the Hedgehog. You didn't have to, you know, do that. You didn't have to have, like, a whole section of the game dedicated to... dedicated to Team Dark. Their story adds nothing. And then Team Rose, well... I mean... If Team Dark barely has any reason to be here, what reason does Team Rose have to be here? Oh, Froggy is missing. Gripping storytelling. You know, the thing of Froggy being missing in Sonic Adventure kind of had, you know, a little bit of weight to it because we actually saw it happen. We actually saw it happen. I mean, like, you know, and if you were playing the other stories, you knew that it was going to be important. Here, why does Neo Metal Sonic want Froggy? Is it because he was possessed by chaos at one point? I mean, he was, but he's not anymore. Like, huh? Heroes was supposed to be Cream's first appearance, but she was added in Advance 2 because the devs wanted to include her. Yeah. Cream's whole history is bonkers. Well, no, there's more bonkers things about Sonic. But, Cream, like, oh, she's gonna debut in Sonic X. Oh, wait, no, we want her to debut in Sonic Heroes. No, we want her to debut in Sonic Advance 2. Okay. Okay, she's gonna debut somewhere. Throw a coin. I think the Chaotix went missing from Shadow the Hedgehog to Sonic Colors DS version. Yeah, no, I forgot about that. So yeah, forget what I said about Shadow the Hedgehog cementing the Chaotix because it didn't cement Schmitz, didn't cement anything. It took until Sonic Generations for the Chaotix to actually be like, okay, no, these guys are here. These guys are here. They matter. They did not disappear into the ether. They're still here. They still exist. Vector makes a Blink and You Miss It cameo in Chronicles, but who even cares about that game? I mean, I don't. I don't. It's so bad. Amy wanted to find Sonic. Big was looking for Froggy, and Cream was looking for her mother's Chow. Amy encouraged them to work together and led the way. I mean, but that's exactly what I mean. It's a pretty nothing story, is it? Like, it's just errand running. It's just errand running. Like, the problem is, okay, why does Metal Sonic need these guys specifically? Like, why? Like, it's not a story. It's an excuse plot. Yeah, I think it was because Farhagi was supposed to have at least a bit of chaos in himself. Blade has so many different concept designs. Oh, yeah, no. Blaze was hard to design, I am 100% sure. I forgot exactly what happened, but I wonder if they just so happened to find and stop Eggman without really meaning to, but I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know either. I don't know either. I don't remember their dialogue from the final boss. And the final cutscene. I really don't remember, because if I remember that, maybe I could make a better educated guess about, like, yeah, what they are actually doing there. But yeah, it still feels very much like an excuse plot. One of them had her in desert attire, sandals and all, and another had her made entirely of black fire. Oh yeah, I think I remember that one. Wasn't that one, like, used as kind of like another concept for Mephiles? Probably. I don't think Sonic Heroes needed an in-depth story, and I think it's kind of charming like a Mario game. Yeah, no, like, I'm not saying I'm not saying that Sonic Heroes doesn't work as it is. I'm just saying that when you start actually thinking about it, just like when you start thinking about a Mario game story, you start seeing, huh, you know, there isn't a lot to chew on this quote-unquote story. You know, it's more like that. It's more like that. Because there is a lot to also appreciate about Sonic Heroes. Like, I would be I would be lying. I would be lying if I said that there isn't. I mean, yeah, the game feels a bit flimsy at times. There's way too many bottomless pits. I mean, when you started adding the bottomless pits like on the very second level or in the very first level for some teams, I think that something is wrong, man. Like, what the heck? What are you doing? There was a Terios design that looked like a 90s Mephiles. Yeah. I need to look back. I need to look back into that stuff again. You know, the concept designs for. I remember the concept designs for Silver better than I do the ones for Blaze, but I think that that's because those were released pretty close to the game's actual release as well. Like, because here's the thing, and I don't know, and this is one of the fascinating things about Sonic 06 is that at a point it felt like they were super confident in Sonic 06. Like, and you can tell in how the story is written and what they decided to do with the game as a whole, that there was a lot of hubris. There was a lot of hubris involved in Sonic 06. And I don't really understand why. Like, I think that confidence was, like, super misplaced. But I don't understand, and I don't understand where it came from. Like, why did they think that this was going to be a game changer? This was going to be the Sonic game for this generation. This is going to bring Sonic back from the brink of death after becoming a third-party mascot instead of a first-party one. Like, what about this particular game made you think that was all a possibility? Like, it's so weird. It was an ambitious project, yeah. Let me see. It's cool that the different teams all had their own goals and came together at the end for something much greater than they expected. However, I think the story premise of Heroes helped later games. I mean, if you want to get, like, I don't know if it's because Sonic Heroes was the first Sonic game that I played where it was current, again. But I think that Sonic Heroes has been used as a blueprint a lot. Even by fans themselves. Sonic Heroes has been used as a blueprint to, like, showcase what a Sonic, like a normal-ish Sonic game should be, except without the team dynamics. But, you know, like, in terms of story, and in terms of, you know, characters going through places. Because if we get technical, Sonic Heroes is kind of like one of the classic games. It's kind of like one of the classic games, you know, like Sonic 2, mostly Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's more like that, or the portable games, like Sonic Advance 2, Sonic Advance 3. It's closer to that because it has, okay, but instead of it just being one character going through all of the stages, it's a whole team. I think that's what Sonic Heroes is at its core. It's basically like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, in that all the characters go through the same levels. But unlike Sonic 3 and Knuckles, unlike Sonic 3 and Knuckles, all the characters go through the exact same levels, except the levels are different. If I recall correctly, the only place in which the Sonic 3 and Knuckles' levels were different was for Knuckles. Sonic and Tails had the exact same levels. They were just easier to navigate as Tails because he can fly. So yeah, and there were parts that were specifically thought for Tails, but they were still present in the Sonic levels because Sonic can't reach them. So yeah, they didn't have to like change anything about them. So in that sense, it is different. It is different than Sonic Heroes, I think. Sora's design didn't change much, with their own stories and lore. Project 06 is one of my favorite Sonic games. It was gonna reinvent Sonic. I don't know. I can see Sonic Team's vision because the game had so much insane potential and looked like it took all the lessons of past adventure games to make the ultimate adventure game. Oh, I mean, yeah. If you see the E3 presentation from 2005, it definitely feels like that. It definitely felt like that. Like, it felt exciting. It felt new. Like, oh my goodness, what are they gonna do? But yeah. It was like that. 2-act, special stages, the chaotics returning, linear story. Yeah. 06 had the potential, but as it been said before, they bit off more than they could chew. Life and business happened, and it all fell apart. Yeah. Team Dark was hard mode, just like Knuckles was in Sonic 3. Metal Sonic being present too. Yeah. Team Dark being hard mode, like Knuckles. Yeah, no, that does make sense. However, Team Dark does not share one of Knuckles' particularities, so to speak, in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, in which Knuckles. Okay, I'm not sure. It's been a while. It's been a while since I played Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but I know that Knuckles doesn't go through Hidden Palace. I mean, he goes through it, but he just literally goes through it. I don't think that he does Lava Reef Act 2. I could be wrong. I definitely know 100% though that he does not do Death Egg. The Death Egg level, like, Knuckles doesn't do the Death Egg level. In that, he differs a lot from Team Dark, because Team Dark does do all the levels. There isn't like a special level that only Team Sonic does. The only special level that Team Sonic does is the boss against Metal Sonic, Metal Overlord. There you go. Which is not exactly the same as a whole new level with a whole new boss and then another completely different level that you play as Supersonic. Like, it's not the same. And Seaside Hill's checkered pattern is an obvious nod to Green Hill. Yeah, before they started spamming the heck out of it. Because, man, poor Green Hill. Yeah, he can't because his jump height is too low to reach the Red Eye boss. Yeah, but like, they didn't have to include the Red Eye boss. They could have a different boss for him. Like, they do have a different boss for him, like in Marble Garden, I think. For example, again, it's been a while since I played Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So crazy to think that when I decide to play Sonic 3 and Knuckles on stream, I am going to be able to play Sonic 3 and Knuckles because I do have Sonic 3 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the Mega Drive. I have the whole cartridge thing. Oh, that's right. I'm gonna do some ASMR. Like when I play Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I am going to like lock in and lock out the cartridges. Like a bunch of times. Like, see, this is what the 90s sounded like. The mid-90s, at least. That's why he doesn't play Death Egg? Yeah. Even Sonic's green eyes are a reference to Green Hill. Fair, yeah. Yeah, like, I I never knew what the design, like what the justification was behind behind giving Sonic green eyes. Mania at least found a way around that with the gravity gimmick against the Crimson Eye. Oh right, the Crimson Eye is back in Mania. Right. Yeah. Let me check what time it is. Oh, okay. Okay, I ended up going a little bit. I ended up going a little bit overboard. a little bit overboard with the talking. Okay, I'm gonna have to end the stream now. And next time for sure. Next time for sure, we're going to play Fatal Frame. I actually need to edit. Something here on the Zatsu. Because wait a second, a customization, is that? No. Oh boy. Okay, so I don't know if anyone is going to try and see if they can find this this stream on like the gaming tab, because it's not a gaming stream and I can't I can't change the oh wait, no, I can change it. Okay, no, let's change it to entertainment. Because yeah, no, like I didn't play any Fatal Frame. Like that's false advertising. I don't want to do that. Okay. Really? You think so, Varney? Thanks. No, really, thanks, because again, I was super scared because, you know, because of last stream, because I wasn't too happy. I wasn't too happy, and I think that it came out a little bit too much. I think that it also came out a bit in this one, but I think that I was able to balance it out a bit better. So yeah. That's something that I need to figure out. Like when I do these Zatsus, like the idea is to have fun, but I can't help but get like heated, like passionate about some of the things that I talk about, and I don't know, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, is that going to attract people? Is that going to make people stick around and think that it's interesting, or is it going to put them off and you know, and make them go like, oh, why do I even like this person? Like, he's always so angry. Like, yeah, I learned a lot, and I have a bit of a different view of Pokemon games and mainstream media thanks to the convo. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yay, personal growth! Ah, man. I think that I think that it's going to kind of be a little like this. It's always going to be a balancing act until I get my mojo back, which I'm not sure how easy that's gonna be. There's a lot that I still have to consider and think about what I'm gonna do moving forward. Well, okay, that's gonna be it for today. again, next time, I'm not sure if we're going to go back to Fatal Frame or if we're going to do something else. I am going to do something that I didn't do this week, and I am going to start doing it. I'm gonna have to start doing it like properly, which is like, okay, asking my mom, okay, do we have anything planned, anything at all for the next week or so? Because I don't want to have to switch around my schedule like at the last minute. That's not good streamer behavior. That's not. Hello, Robert Liel. Welcome. I was just about to finish stream, actually. Oh boy. I'm sorry. At least that's what I think. Oh, Psionic? Okay, okay, no, I really have to go. It's 9:30. Well, it's already past 9:30. Okay. Okay, time for the send off. At least today I didn't bite myself and have massive. Just seems short. No, it's 3 hours. It's like I went on longer than I had planned to today. Okay. Whether you're watching this live or the VOD or are a lurker or are a member who just happened to not be able to show up, know that your presence is always appreciated, and see you soon, or as they say in Atlantis, Ekabe. And here's to the next streams being more fun and less gloom, because there's already enough gloom in people's lives and I don't want to add to that, okay? Okay! Ekabe! Bye!